Casting again tonight. We've done a bunch of shows, like 4 in a row. We broadcasted the Cannabis Control Commission hearings today, and may talk about that. May play some video later from that. But tonight we're gonna open. We have for like the last several shows. We just really excited about this free Karen Reed and justice for John O'Keefe. We're gonna stay on that tonight. Definitely. We got some good guests too. Got to talk about some events that are upcoming, both free Karen Reed, but some of the things that we're also going to be involved in upcoming. I just want to say the last show was amazing. Another amazing show. You may have seen it. I think a lot of you saw it with retired DEA agent, supervisory agent, 28-year career, Sean. He was amazing. We broke records on that show for our podcast and the live. Unbelievable. Can't believe how many views that got. Just an amazing show. Definitely going to have him back on the show. I know a lot of people liked him on the last episode. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you supporting the show. We've actually, let me get that up on the screen too, because people have been asking us how they can support us. You can subscribe. We have an email list, a website, midnightmass.substack.com. Can join that, put your email in there, or you can actually support us financially monthly through that website as well if you want to kick in some money. Other people are actually sending us money on the Cash App. I want to read off one of those that just came in tonight already, who is thanking us for our coverage of the free Karen Reed justice for John O'Keefe. And there's a big hearing coming up. There was a lot of news this week on that very story. We're going to play some of the video maybe from Fox 25 tonight, but we have some great guests too. So they're standing by in the green room. They were cracking me up before we even started. I had to put them back in the green room just to set up the show because I couldn't stop laughing. These guys are funny. The Como brothers. Well, a lot of people want to get them up on the show. So I guess I'm going to do that right now, but I just want to make sure that people are aware this upcoming Friday is the big hearing for Karen Reed. And a lot of people are going to be there early. I believe it starts at 9 a.m. At the Dedham Courthouse there. So if you want to join that, I think a lot of people are going to be there. A lot of our past guests are going to be there. I would love to be there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there. And there's also an event, a fundraiser later that night with Turtle Boy, the drive-in in Taunton there. And it looks like that may even be sold out. There were like 200 tickets. I think it already got sold out, but there may actually be more tickets available. They may release some more. We'll see on that. So stay tuned on that. But that looks like a major, awesome fundraiser. And again, on Saturday, we're going to be hosting at the Boston Freedom Rally, a panel for cannabis workers. Some big developments today on that story that we've been covering over the last year about cannabis workers. But I'm going to be moderating a panel at the Boston Freedom Rally on the Boston Common, a free event Saturday. Hopefully it doesn't have a hurricane. We'll be there it starts at high noon. I think our panel is at 4 p.m. I hope to see everyone there. I'm really looking forward to being at the Boston Freedom Rally. So there's a lot of events. There's also Green Goddess Invitational that we're sponsoring this Monday. They're raising money. It's a huge golf tournament with women in cannabis, and they're raising money for a veterans group. So we may talk about that too. We sponsored it. It's going to be happening this Monday up in Haverhill. Stem Haverhill, Caroline Pinot behind that. So that's the event rundown. I want to get to our guests. Let's bring up our guests tonight. This is going to be exciting because these guys have they got this Facebook group that I'm a part of. Canton Confidential. Love it. Really funny stuff. John Como is posting on there all the time. He's one of the admins. There's Angela, who I like a lot. And there's George, the other brother. They've also done some videos that we may play tonight. They're characters. They're good guys. They pick up trash in Canton. And they have this Facebook group that's absolutely hilarious, but it's really well run. There's no political arguments that you see on most town Facebook groups. There's none of that, Trump, Biden crap going on. It's just about the town of Canton. And because of what's going on with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, it's obviously become quite almost a controversial place, even though I think it's very well run. Their name has come up at City Hall hearings. I think the police chief actually brought up Canton Confidential. Let's find out more about that from the gentlemen of the night. We got George and John Como. They're the two guys behind Canton Confidential. Let's bring them up. What's up, guys?
Okay. I was able to reroute his Cash App to our Cash App, and now people are giving us the money.
Donate.
Yeah, donate.
Donate.
Because now we're getting it. So you don't have to worry about this guy. He's all set.
Yep.
This is now you're helping us. And as you can see, we've got this crazy little studio in the middle of nowhere. And
you guys thought you were getting Jurks merch or something.
And we're Jerk merch.
We came up with a great idea for him. We're gonna start a line. We're gonna launch a line of Jerk merch for him.
Oh, if you want to help, I would definitely apprate that.
Yeah, we had
we'll split the money.
Condoms for a while. Those were a big hit.
Yeah. They were good. A lot of people had to slip that in just to use them, but we got them. So that's it. Hey, first of all, thank you for having us on the show. I'm George Como, not Como, Como.
Oh, it's Como. So wait, say that again, because I got to say it like 5 times to get it. Como.
Not Perry Como. That's Italian. We are French.
K-A-M-O-E. Come on.
Yes, and
come on.
Right. French Canadian.
Say it however you want. I mean,
yeah.
Am I saying it right now though? Come on.
The other thing I want to say is, at the beginning of the show, you talked about last week having incredible ratings. We're going to give you the opposite tonight.
No, we're doing all right.
In the other direction.
We're doing pretty good.
Going the other way.
We're not on Sean McDonough level, but we're doing pretty good. We got more than I usually get.
It just hasn't dropped off yet, but it will. Sean is watching, by the way.
Well, that's the key. Will it drop off?
It will drop off.
Sources.
I would give it like 5 minutes.
5 minutes
tops.
It's still going up, guys.
Yeah, it's going up because they're like, oh, what are you going to talk about?
Give him a minute.
And that's it. That's right.
All right, go ahead. Shoot.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
Hit us.
I want to know how number one, how you started Canton Confidential. And did you expect to be, I think you got brought up by the police chief. Is that right? Is that what happened? Tell us about all that.
Two-part question.
George will answer part 1.
Well, you can answer part 1, and I'll finish up with 2.
I know. So what happened was we had a lot of time on our hands, but when I both lived maybe about a mile from each other. And we started this other page, we changed it 5 different names to it. But basically, we go out to breakfast with different people in town. And then we did stupid things because we'd see people complain about things and, couches at the end of the street. So we'd go out and lay on the couches and do videos and stuff. And then the Rotary came to town. I don't know why, but it came to town.
I mean, the point behind starting it was to use humor to create some social change. So if we saw a lot of trash along the road, and this is a true story, you've probably seen the video, right? We would go out on a Sunday and we would pick up all the trash and then we would analyze it. So we had bags of it and we thought, how many nips are in there? We count it all up. And then we delivered it to the DPW and just gave it to them and left it on their doorstep. And the next morning, they got the message and sent the crew out. And we mean this with huge respect. We do respect our municipal employees. And, many of them we know really well. But we're just using humor to make a point. And that kind of rubs people the wrong way. And I get it. I think humor's hard. And when people are feeling attacked, our hope is that we can disarm them a little bit with humor. And people need to know we're not very serious guys, but in this case, Canton Confidential was started as another alternative to another great Facebook page. Yep. And you pointed this out on your show a couple weeks ago with my neighbor, Jennifer Trethaway. And right, I get that? Trethaway.
I know.
So Jennifer said, this was an alternative because on that other page, which is also extremely well run, they are not immune to huge amounts of complaints from people.
Losing power.
Multiple administrators who have to decide whether things go on or off the page. It's like 24/7 over on that page, where we're much more, I think, permissive, and we allow people to say what they want. And I'll tell you why. And that's because I'm an attorney and I believe in the First Amendment. I believe that if you want to say something, you should say it. As long as you're not bringing harm to others or you're not creating violence. I took constitutional law, so I understand where the lines are, and those are the posts that get removed. I also think we sometimes remove the posts that are really offensive. They're hurtful to people, and there's been a lot of that around the case at hand, right?
I've been guilty of this too. Sometimes my humor George has taken down plenty of my posts
all the time.
So sometimes I've crossed the line. George sees it, he takes it down. I end up calling him, go, what are you doing? What are you taking my post down for? I act just like everyone else.
Yeah. So I get the final say, right?
Yeah.
So I get the final say, and I say, you know what? You've gone too far. And that can happen. But the goal here is to let people vent. And with respect to your other point about our police chief, she is an amazing chief. And I'm sure she's watching or she'll hear this. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for her. But with all due respect, I think her point was against me personally when it should have been
against me.
Yeah, well, yeah. First of all, against him.
Fights against me, not George.
But not that. It's. I think people. If you're a police chief, you should uphold the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which actually says that you have the right to free speech. And I understand the position she's in is really difficult, and I give her huge props for what she has to do and deal with every day. A lot of respect for police, and so. That's all I have to say on it. And she's never reached out to me. I would love to have some dialogue with her on it. I know she doesn't like the page. There are people who do not like the page.
There's a lot of people.
And my answer to that is, then don't go there.
Right.
If you don't want your kid reading a certain book, tell your kid not to read the book. Don't tell my kids what they can and cannot read. And that's just sort of the politic of the day. So all I can say about Canton Confidential is it does feel a little bit of free for all. I'm all good with that.
Just above septic level.
Yeah. I mean, we do sort of, float in the trash a little bit. And it isn't for everybody. And when we get complaints, we get a lot of complaints.
Yep.
My answer to that is then avert your eyes, which is actually the constitutional standard for when something doesn't bother you, avert your eyes, because there's going to be a lot in America that doesn't bother people. And I allow it unless it's something that's really dangerous. So
I know I'm doing a good job on there when I get a call from George because he hasn't seen something, but he's gotten phone calls. So that means now he's got to go to the page to see what stupid thing I put on there that has triggered a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then he's like, listen, I really need you to back off with this or that. And most of my things, by the way, most of the things that I post aren't from really me. It's people that are like sending me messages or sending me ideas saying, hey, could you please do this for me? Because we have a lot of people that are too afraid to post it, but they know I'm the idiot that's going to post it for them.
Well, and the other thing, one of your viewers just put a comment in there, so I can certainly. You're right. People can't slander other people, but that's not our job. If you're in a Shaw's and somebody says something negative in front of you, it's not Shaw's job to kick you out of the store. That's not how it works. That's not how media works, and that's not how the internet works. And for people who think it's our job to be censors, that's not our job. And so I do have a huge respect for the U.S. Constitution and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I take ethics training every year, so I really do understand the things. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, there's Jennifer Trethaway.
Hi, Jennifer Trethaway.
Jennifer, if I go out my house, I could scream and she could hear me. She hears me every Saturday night screaming.
Close your windows.
Oh, that's a good point. Hadn't thought of that. All right. Anyway,
all right, back to you. Next
Does that
question.
answer your question?
Yes, it does.
All right. Well, that only took, what is that? Oh,
we're done.
We're done.
It's like Bill Belichick. Just draw the questions
That's
out.
right. That's perfect.
And the numbers keep going up.
They're not going to stay that way. Trust me.
Honestly, once
Well,
they
I
get
don't
a
know.
load of us.
Yeah. It's not our job. That's
No.
right. It's not
Yeah.
my job. Got it. Good.
Right.
Moving on. Perfect.
Moving on.
Okay. Now there's dead air. That makes me nervous.
Well, that's where I get you guys filling in. That's why you might
Oh,
say
wait,
something
wait,
inappropriate.
Wait. We're getting a tip.
A tip.
What is it? That's a missing cat on Messenger Street.
Yep.
Send that off to the other web page. That's more
We'll let
everything Canton deals with that.
Yep.
We don't deal with cats.
Yeah.
So you guys, have you helped a lot of pets? Have you returned a lot of pets?
Would you like to
Dogs
hear
and-
about the cat story? Would you like to hear the cat story?
It's a very small class. It only takes about an hour online. Thank you very much.
Would you like to hear about the cat story that got us in trouble with the other page?
Oh, we did get in trouble about a cat. That is true.
Yeah.
You want to hear it?
Is it quick?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We can make it quick.
I'm always ready for a quick cat story.
It's the story. Just got us in trouble too.
Another reason why we created the page.
This is I'm sitting in the house one day. A cat walks in the house, right in the basement. There's a cat. on its own, no leash, no lead, no nothing. And I'm like, what is going on with this cat? So I pick up the cat, very friendly cat. We bring it to the animal pound and turn it into the animal control agent so that they can find the home. About, I don't know, 2 hours later, get a call from a very angry woman who says, you have no right picking up my cat and bringing it to the pound. How could you do that? It's an outdoor cat. I said, well, I was really worried about it because I thought, maybe a wolf or an animal or something was going to get it, right? And she says, leave my cat alone. Don't bring my cat. I said, look, if your cat comes into my house, it's not an outdoor cat. So I'm going to try to rescue it. So she was really angry. That's when we came up with the idea of promoting in Canton. If you have an outdoor cat, paint the tail orange, and then we'll know. We won't pick up those cats.
Right.
And we started putting out memes with orange tail cats.
We photoshopped the tails orange on everybody's cats that we found outside.
Yes.
People don't like our humor.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
I love your humor. I'm laughing daily.
That's actually true with the cat thing.
Yep.
I want to know who's making the there's this meme. You've seen that, the meme series where it's I think it's Michael Morrissey usually, but they're at like a table.
Not me. I don't.
Who makes those?
I can tell you. Well, I can't tell you because they're anonymous, and we have sworn.
Is it one person though, or is it different people?
The Michael Morrissey one is just one person. The one at the desk, anyone at the desk, that's one person, and it's not me.
I thought it was you.
The ones I do.
We have never ever
outed anyone
because we can see it, of course.
Right. Sure.
And then sometimes we'll look just for our own curiosity, but we don't care.
I usually don't. Sometimes I don't even look.
No, it has nothing to do. If you want to say it and put your balls out there, feel free. Right. But if you're nervous, and there are people who are nervous about stuff,
and that's what kind of got me in trouble early on, is because I was putting memes out under my own name on other pages, and then I started getting texts, and I'm that type of person. When someone tells me to stop, I'm like, well, that means they're watching. I might as well keep going.
Yeah, he
right?
pushes.
So then I push just to push people's boundaries, and it really upsets them. And but the problem is once George allowed me to become a moderator, which was a big mistake because now I have to act like an adult. My meme making kind of really fell off, and which the good thing is a lot of other people have picked it up.
So the other thing is about Canton Confidential is there are a ton of people who claim that it's all outsiders. So then we did a study to figure out how many people are either from Canton or live in Canton, and that number is in the 70% range. Yeah. And so we're still comfortable with allowing sort of Canton issues to be in there. My hope is that someday it'll go back to where it was and nobody watches it. I mean, that right now it's just
2,000 people. If it get back down to 2,000 people.
By the way, we randomly allow people in. Everybody has to fill out a question. Every day we were getting like 200 requests for people to come in. We could have blown the page up like that. We decided not to do that. We decided, no. And many people get jettisoned and they ask why for no reason at all. There is a
good process. Let
me bring that up because there's a lot of comments about people who are saying they can't get into the
confidential space. You got to know the secret. You got to know the password.
Why?
Why did you let me in and not these other folks?
Everybody in, then it just
then it does become right. And what happens is we keep, so it's George, myself, and Angela, and that's it. And it keeps everything where nothing's going to get leaked. Nothing's going to, there's not going to be problems. We're not going to do it. And we trust Angela. And my thought of bringing Angela along was, we needed a younger female, slightly new to town that wants to live in this town and so she
represents New Canton,
the New Canton, right? And she's the activist, and so I'm like, you know what better person to bring her on? And I had only met her once, and I'm like, hey, how would you like to come on board? Like I don't even think she really knew what it's about, because I've gotten so many face palms. Those little emoji face palms from her. She doesn't get my old person humor. I'm like, I could tell her, like, if someone asked me, what do you do? And I say, I work at a quarry. And they're like, what's a quarry? Like, you ever see the Flintstones? Yeah. Do you know how many kids don't know who the Flintstones are?
Yeah, well, references. So
they don't get our references.
But Jonathan's the older brother. He's the oldest.
No,
right?
I'm not.
And I'm like the youngest. I'm like, in the middle of the two.
I would guess the other way.
It is.
Well, a lot of people do, but they'd be wrong.
The other way.
They'd be wrong. I'm 6 years younger than Jonathan, actually. That's the way it is. Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut into this brother stuff. It's reminding me of me and my brother.
Is that good or
He's
bad?
10 months, 3 weeks younger
No,
than
it
me.
just
My
feels
brother.
like-
I don't know.
Imagine that.
Because my shirt is soaked from sweat moving around.
Yeah, we had to
So
move.
let-
We had to
let-
move the sash. Yeah, right. We had to move the sash.
Soaked.
Yeah.
I got a question for George that came from the audience, and both of you actually. They want to know what you think about the Canton Select Board right now and the controversy going on right there. There's been, it's not case related. I know that George, you don't want to really talk about the
Yeah, I
case
don't wanna-
much,
and I'll
but
tell
this
you-
is something different. What about the
Well,
Canton Select Board?
and I'll tell you why I won't talk about the case. You can ask me that later, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because I think that I have a fundamental reason for why I don't talk about the case, and I don't talk about.
He
it
won't
with-
even talk to me privately.
I just don't because and you can ask me and I'll tell you that later. But with respect to the politics, there are people who post stuff about our select board members. And I believe that public officials, and I'm an elected official, if you want to say crap about me, library is a big deal, We are the lions at the
Books.
gate. Yeah, but no, we're the
You're
lions at the
protecting
gate.
books.
Protecting ideas.
All right, go back to you.
The point is that if you create a meme that's attacking a political official, that's fair game. You ran for office. That's what you're getting into. I've been an elected official since I was 18. However, when I was able to vote, I ran for office, and many people have both lauded the things that I do and attacked the things that I do, and I'm fine with it because I opened my life to it. And I think that the select board today is realizing what that's like. And it was, there's definitely some leadership challenges. I think the chair is doing an amazing job at trying to bridge and build. And I think there's also an incredible community group who are working to make change. And when you have that friction of change on one side and sort of the old guard on the other, there's going to be a friction and a cut point. And that's just the natural part of the politic of change. And that's what they're going through right now is tremendous amounts of change. And they're listening. I know they're attentive. I talk to them. I mean, I have dialogues with pretty much each and every one of them. And
What are you telling them? What kind of advice are you giving them, George?
Well, I mean,
like a Chris Albert, are you talking to him?
So I've had conversations with Chris. They didn't always go as well as I would have liked, but I always keep the door open. I get calls from some. I get calls and some I call. The advice that I give them early on, honestly, is just crisis management. You're in a crisis. It's not your crisis, but it is a crisis. And so anytime that happens, you need to figure out what to say, how to say it, how to address the media, how to address the public, and do it in a way that is satisfying to the public so they understand there's some things we cannot talk about because there's a process to how we talk about those things. And have there been missteps? I think they'd agree that there have been some missteps, and I think that happens on both sides of it. We're getting there. It's just going to take some time, and I really like Tom Theodore. We've been friends for as long as he's been a select board member. He's the kind of guy I wish I knew long ago because he's just such a good guy. And without calling out the rest of the individuals, I've been friends with more or less all of them. I didn't know Mr. Albert until the day I met him holding signs. I was standing right next to him holding signs and having dialogues. And I'll tell you what I said to him was, you were elected and that's what the people wanted. And so I'll hold judgment until I see you govern. And I'm not an election denier. So I believe that he was elected and is in place, and let the rest of it work its way out. That's what people are there for. They vote him back or they vote him out or vote him in, whatever. That's the way this America works. Yeah, I can talk. I'll shut up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up.
I think they're in awe. I think they like it. I like it too. It's funny. We did peak in the amount of viewers.
And now it's going down.
But now it's going back up.
Oh yeah.
So while it's going up, can I do a quick shout out?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to give a shout out to my current fiance and my ex-wife because I know they're both watching. Okay,
Wow, what's that like?
Oh, it's awesome.
It's awesome. How's that work?
Yeah,
People
we're
are
the
talking
first.
about your brothers and cars too. Oh no, they froze up. We
There she
lost them.
goes.
Oh, there you
Oh
back.
my God, that Rotary. Yeah, we
So the town built. This is a town that hates change. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm
I'm the one that hates change.
and I'm one of the town historians, right?
Yeah.
So I take the long view of this town, back 300 years. So I love the history of this town. But change is like
It's me. I hate
it's
change.
awful, right? So
Yeah.
one day after whatever, they figured out we're going to put in a rotary at this intersection
on a
and
street that it means nothing.
So
Goes to Stoughton.
Yeah,
Who needs a rotary to go to Stoughton?
So we
You know?
we began
All right, I
calling
gotta
it,
get over the
we started calling it
Alex's.
we called it the death spiral,
Death-
Carrie
that's right.
Doolin Thompson.
Yeah, the
It
death
wasn't
spiral.
the death circle.
The
it was
circle of death, the
cir-
death spiral,
circle of
the-
doom, all that
oh,
stuff.
we had so many names.
And when we started doing videos in it, in one video, we went round and round and round. We went around that thing
Yeah.
for 25 times. Just stayed in the
Just
circle.
stayed in it.
Cars are coming in and we're still in it.
Yeah,
We're
we just
coming
kept
in it
around.
because it was a pretty silly thing.
It was
And-
just like Chevy Chase's. I can't get right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is a town that has a real hard time with change. I got to tell
The
you.
trash barrels.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, one year we got these two. We got an enormous recycling barrel and a small trash barrel.
Yeah.
And for months on that other page, everybody complained nonstop.
So we
Nonstop.
went out and showed people what they could do with
10
their
things.
recycling
10
barrel.
things you
10
can do
things
with
you can do with a recycling barrel.
Yeah.
And there's this great shot of Jonathan in
We
the recycling
turned one
barrel,
into a jacuzzi.
turned it into a jacuzzi,
Yeah.
filled it up with soap suds, and then
We
this
put a leaf
very
blower.
dangerous. Put a leaf blower.
I know. I get nervous at this point when he took the leaf blower and shoved the leaf
We
blower.
put a leaf blower
into the
into the
thing.
water. Bubbles are going everywhere. And
I
again,
realized the cord was like right next to it.
it was just our way of poking fun at
Yeah.
the recycling barrels. It's something. It's silly.
You guys are having fun. I love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of a town that doesn't like change, what do you think is going to happen on the next election? Do you think that like it's going to be some turnover on the select board this time?
I think there will be, and so for years we had a woman, Avril Elcourt, Scottish, right? She was Scottish.
Oh, she was Scottish.
She was
Yes.
Scottish, and oh my God, she was an amazing.
Remember Canton's
Selectman.
Pentagon,
Back
the
then it
police
was-
station. Canton's Pentagon.
Yeah, she was an amazing. Back then it was selectman,
Yeah.
select board member now, but back then she was an amazing select woman, and then we had Victor's wife, Lisa Lopez, another great person. I think they need that type of person on the board. It just gives you a whole different view.
Well, I think the other piece of the politic of any town is, and I'm just going to put this in perspective. This is a community that is $145 million corporation. That 60% of which is going to personnel costs, and most of that is going to go over to the school side, of course. And then
Oh,
you've
the
got
school takes it all
And the
Well,
police.
that's not true.
every year.
But in terms of having a community, these are the heads of our corporation. And I think that the politic of any small town is, I'm going to vote for the guy that I like.
Right.
I'm going to vote, for the
My
guy
buddy.
that is my buddy because he's a good guy, and we hang out with him. And I just think that doesn't necessarily work as well as it might have in the past.
When the town was smaller then.
Yeah, and so the idea that you have professionals at the top, I think, is really important, and so that goes back to leadership. And I think the voters. Somebody asked earlier, will there be more people voting in future elections? Sometimes crisis brings that out, and then it goes away because for most people,
Or usually it's one item. If
there's a
something
trigger
on there,
item.
Usually, like
Yeah.
the school, the
Yeah.
fire department, the police department, like some big ticket item,
Yeah.
you're going to get everybody to go vote that year.
and Kevin, to answer your question,
His wife
I
won't
will.
let him.
I will. First of all, I will never run for select
His
board.
wife
And I'll
let
tell
him.
you what. My first wife won't let me. So that, but and I only have one wife. But the other thing about that is nobody likes the select board,
Right.
and I learned
Nobody
that
likes
years
us.
ago. Nobody likes us. Why would they elect
I know.
us? You'd elect us?
Yeah.
You'd be crazy
Oh
to
my
elect
God!
us.
Could you believe what the meeting would look
No.
like with us
No.
there? Another check?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
People like watching it, like, oh look, I'm watching you. Yeah, we know. We can see you. You see
No,
us. It's like,
Oh,
okay.
don't you hate that? People
don't
start
hate it, but
texting
it's
me and
But his
calling
watches
me.
stop
It's like,
vibrating.
I'm
So
watching you
watch
in the
it
show. I'm
vibrate.
like, yeah, so don't call me now.
You should have.
It's okay. You can call
If
me.
you knew it was going to happen,
Hi, mom.
yeah,
Can you see me? I'm on TV.
tell her I'm all set.
Jonathan's here too. You
Yeah,
want to talk to
okay.
Jonathan?
Tell
No,
mom to stop calling you.
I'm good.
You want to talk to
Good.
mom?
No, I'm good.
Mom,
I'm
she
good.
doesn't want to talk to you.
No.
Oh, nothing new.
Okay.
So let me bring it back to some serious stuff because a lot of people do want to hear about the Kara Reed stuff. I know you
I have a
probably
question. What is in the background?
Yeah,
here?
are you in front of a closet?
No, what ours? Look at what.
Oh, that's ours.
Those
Yeah.
are
You're
my
talking about me,
Doritos.
the mannequins, people.
Jersey.
You see, I try to get seriously. You guys go back to mannequins.
We
You
can't. I have such ADHD.
You do. I got 2 guys.
Yeah, I put them on Rimadol.
Well, people
Okay.
make fun of my background.
Yeah,
I didn't make
That's
that.
like your grandmother's pantry.
I know.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
girlfriend
yeah,
put it up.
Your pantry? What is
The
behind
boss
that
put it
curtain?
up. I can't take it down. You know what? I might,
behind it?
if people send me more
Is that one of those
donations,
You should
to
have-
Cash App,
you
maybe
know
I'll
what you
get
need?
that
This
fancy
one- no,
turtle
that-
boy.
This is going to be
screen.
free. I'm going to give you this one for free. You need a young Jurks thing back there. You need like.
Well,
a young
if I
Jurks
get the
curtain.
green screen, I can do that.
No,
Wait.
no, you don't need a green screen. You need a jerk.
Look at all the
curtain.
money you're
He needs
making
a jerk
tonight.
curtain.
I need more money.
Get a
Cash
jerk
at
curtain.
me.
Is
Cash
that
at
a
me.
bed that folds down? What is that?
No,
behind you?
Murphy bed. No, he needs a jerk curtain.
Yeah, you need a
A
jerk.
jerk curtain.
Not a towel. Not a jerk towel. It's a
I want
totally-
to thank all the people
Yeah,
that
that's
jerk
what
chat
I'm saying.
tonight.
You do not
totally
want a
different
jerk
thing.
towel.
You don't want a jerk towel. That's a different. Oh my God! You should be selling jerk towels.
You should.
Oh, your merch store is going to be through the roof by the time we're done with this
Oh,
podcast.
it's so true.
If we don't get canceled tonight,
My wife just walked in.
Next week, jerk towels.
Jerk towels. Okay, what was your serious question? Are you going to spit up your milk?
don't
What's going
back
on?
like the jerk curtain.
He's going to spit up.
Oh boy, you guys open up the.
And do not backlight it because it's no, it's not good. You know,
he needs.
Well, we got more questions. Here's another question. I'm going to go back to the other
you
question I
write
want to
these
ask you
down or is
about
it
the
just
Karen
like,
Reed case. Here's another one too. Someone said, "Would you participate in the next rolling rally?" I'm not even sure if there is one, but there is.
The last one. I was at the last.
You
one,
were.
well, part of it, and then I had my
I am not
motorcycle
answering the phone.
trouble.
That was
I won't be at the next one. I have
Mom?
something. I'm on vacation all next week, so
and
I have to
so
be back in Canada.
that's my I'll tell you I won't, and honestly I believe in the rule of law. I believe that the public is entitled to all of the theories that they want to make. Nobody has seen any actual evidence because evidence only becomes evidence when the court admits it as evidence. I'm not into any of that. I'm not into sort of supposition in terms of who did what. I believe everybody is innocent until proven guilty, and a jury hasn't proven anybody guilty. The one thing that bothers me about the signs I see around is, and I understand the branding behind
Right,
free
it's a
Karen Reed.
slogan.
I get
It's a
the
slogan. You
slogan.
have to have a slogan.
She is free. She is afforded all of the defenses, and she has really amazing attorneys from what I've seen. So
His
frankly,
hair-
I wouldn't say she's free when she's got
His
over
hair's-
half
Yeah,
$1
yeah,
million
yeah.
bond. I mean,
well,
that's not
but
free
that's
to
the
me.
system we're in. That's
Yeah.
the system we have.
I mean, that's better than being in jail, but it's
But
not
that's
free like
the
I'm free right
You
now.
gotta admit, his
I'm
hair
not
is-
under a bond. I can go anywhere I want. I have to
well,
report
yeah,
it.
but guess
So-
what? You weren't accused of a crime, and
I
so
know. That's,
the process is the process, and so let that happen. I applaud political activism, and people are out there doing their thing. It's just that's not me, and frankly, after 4 years of law school, I have to respect the system.
so
So-
let,
4 years.
Okay.
It took me 4 years.
Okay.
Nights.
Oh, good.
Wow, how long did it take you?
I didn't go to law school.
Where did you go?
I went to Suffolk.
Yeah, but why are you picking on 4 years?
I just wanted to know.
How long do you think it takes?
I don't know. I didn't go to law school.
Well, why are you just asking me
I-
this now? We've been brothers our whole life.
It came up.
Just now?
let me ask you both guys.
What?
Someone just made a great point. They said, I don't trust the system, the
Well, I
process
do.
anymore.
That's the difference. I do, and they don't, and that's okay.
Do you
That's-
blame people, though?
Do I
for not
blame
trust-
people for not
Not
look,
trusting the system, the process.
I don't think people trusted the system with OJ. I don't think people trusted a lot of trials, big, huge trials that have come along. There's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, but at the end of the day, it's the jury that decides. I don't get to decide. You don't get to decide. The jury will decide, and that's my whole thing. And that's not
My views
particular
are
to this case.
completely 100% opposite than
Go for it.
his.
Yeah. for sure.
I'm more on the side of pretty much everybody else that's making comments here. But for us, we know what we're comfortable with talking to each other about, what we will talk about, and that's why we have such a good relationship. The way we do is because we know where the line is.
Yeah,
But
well,
most of the time,
we didn't talk for a year.
I know, a full year.
A full
full
year.
year I wouldn't
He
talk to
put
him.
me on probation
I did.
for a year.
I did.
This
You must
just-
have been a
And
bad boy.
every time he,
Let me ask you this. Another
I
question came in.
tried,
Did you-
I added a day.
It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
That's the Italian part of it. Yeah, that's the Italian.
Back in
I
oh,
have
you
a
guys are
grudge.
Italian.
Now,
I thought
by
you
the
were
way,
just
the-
French. Now I
yeah.
get it. Did you know
No, no,
John
I thought it
O'Keefe
was-
or Karen?
Oh, no, our grandmother Go ahead. Tell me
Grandmother,
quick story.
grandmother came to this country when she was 7. She was born in New York City, and then her parents sent her across to Italy, and she grew up there till she was about 11, I should say. And then they put her on a boat.
By herself.
And she came back through New York. She's an American citizen at that point. Spends one night in New York, comes to Boston, and then she begins.
11
her
years
life in
old.
America.
11 years old. They put her on a boat.
Yeah.
7 days.
Yep.
Across from Italy.
Yep. True story.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
People are mesmerized by that story.
Oh, it's a great story.
Well, we could tell it better on another show.
Yeah.
Yeah, another show.
It's a different
Not this
show.
one.
Different-
Not
yeah.
this one.
But there's a question: do we know these individuals?
Yes.
I don't.
So
know any of them.
what is it? Full disclosure.
Why are you asking
Full
me?
disclosure. I
Air
graduated high school with several of the people that are involved in this. I know a lot of the characters that are in this. I was only a couple of years behind some of the other characters.
I don't know
in this,
any of them.
and a couple of years ahead of some of the other women in this. Yeah.
I don't know
Which
any
ones?
Chris Albert graduated with me. Brian Lochran graduated. Lank graduated. We all graduated the same year. We were just behind Tommy Kelleher, who you went to college with. I did my research. Bridgewater State, correct?
of them.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like
I know,
Keller.
it was in the
It
we
was
have
in
the packet.
We have
over
your
here.
packet that you sent with your
yeah.
bio. We read
So,
all your stuff. It's pretty amazing.
We did it. We did
I think
a
we drank
two-part-
Keystone Light.
We did a 2-part series interview with Tommy's father. Tommy's father was amazing.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good. He had a gun class. He had the claw. He put the claw on me. They used to, instead of handcuffs, they had this
The
one
claw.
cuff. It was called the claw. It was like a handle with a cuff. And I remember as a young kid, my father played softball with Big Bill Devine and all these guys. And I had seen Mr. Kelleher, this silver thing he was wearing his uniform right on his thigh pocket. And I'm like, what is that, young kid? And he asked my father, he goes, should I show him, Joe? My father's like, go ahead. He put that thing on me, and I was on the ground in like 2 seconds. He just twisted that thing around,
Right.
and I thought he was going to break my arm.
We interviewed him years later, and he had the claw. And I said to him, I said, "Is that legal?" He goes, "Probably not."
Jennifer knows.
Jennifer just said, Mike, you can't rein them in.
Yeah,
I haven't even tried tonight, really. I just, I
Have your
threw a
viewers
couple
gone
little
down?
names.
Yeah, we're going down.
I threw the Italian line. My best friend was Italian who died.
Oh.
So when I realized you guys were Italians, I was like,
There she
oh,
goes.
now I get
There
it.
she
Now-
goes.
That's why I keep my hands like this. Otherwise, I'm like,
And because I got the brothers too, so it's like I'm screwed. It's like I know, when the family is around.
you should see our Thanksgivings.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can
well,
imagine.
We can't even have a good Thanksgiving because
No.
of all of our views. Because, well, there's 4 boys in our family. It goes George, Chris, myself, and Jeremy.
Yeah.
And
It's tough.
I seem to be way over more to one side than these guys.
Which is really weird because
and,
I don't know where this came from. I mean, you're
well, I'm the blue collar. I'm the hard hat guy. These guys are all like
I'm a hard guy.
if you saw my hands
I'm a
compared to their
callus
hands,
right there.
you know,
I don't know how he got it. Might have gotten that in the Lexus.
Here they go. And they change the topic again.
Yeah.
Some of the audience loves you, and the other part of it is like they want to talk about what I want to talk about.
We're
which is
not
kinda
acting.
read.
We are not acting.
So let me. I'm going to cut you both off.
Right.
He's cutting us off.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I could silence you guys too. I could really go medieval on you.
Ring the bell.
That would, ring the bell.
Go ahead.
People want to know, George, you're a lawyer. Do you think the feds are looking into Morrissey, Lally, given your legal background?
My legal background is the feds are very good at doing their investigations, and they're going to do a very thorough investigation of any and all crimes that they deem necessary. That's my shit of a shit non-answer. What did I tell you at the beginning of this? I'm going to give you a shit non-answer. My non-answer is the feds are. I'm going to smile. Fuck you. The feds are going to do what the feds are going to do.
Awesome. And when Rafferty threw it out there that it was like a crime, there was like crimes to even talk about this. And
yeah.
Were you worried about that? Were you worried about getting charged?
No.
Oh, George wasn't at the rally.
No. But I think that, and again, the chief. I don't call her Rafferty because I have respect for the position and the role that she has to play. And if anybody doesn't have that respect, then there's no respect for the rule of law. And you can disagree with her all you want, but she is entitled to an opinion. I think it was misplaced for her to blame me for the vitriol that happens in a page. But it doesn't matter if he wants to have the vitriol, if he wants to say these things.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter to a police chief. A police chief should police a community, should engender support with that community through community policing and really good crime fighting and doing the things that police departments do.
Coffee with the cops.
But don't get caught up in what I'm doing, which is defending the U.S. Constitution, and that's how I view it. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I'm going to continue to respect her and respect the position, and we may not see eye to eye on it, and that's okay. And long ago, I learned that, and this I've had this ingrained, that not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay. You don't have to be liked by everybody. So yes, she works for us, but she's in a very difficult position, and I recognize that. And I think her comments were probably said out of frustration with the system. She's not in our book. She's not in the page, but I show it to her. She will hear this, and she'll do what she wants with it. She hasn't reached out. I was at her swearing in. I've known her since I was a kid. She's known me. So that's the thing about small town. You tend to know everybody. And I would just say to her,
a lot of people don't understand. Canton really kind of is a small town, and everybody does kind of know everybody, or of them. And when they say, like that people are conflicted, well, of course, because everybody's grown up together. It's like it's generation after generation of pretty much a lot of the same people until the condos came in. But that's a whole different story, the condos. But it has, for the most part, a small town feel. And that's why we know all those people that you see on TV. And it's not just that meeting. There's other meetings. There's the zoning board. There's the recreation. A lot of these people do multiple things because they care about the town. Tommy Theodore is one of the nicest guys. I've met him several times. He will do a pop-up like barbecue, hamburger, you name it, just because he wants to. A couple of years ago, we were trying to free the res. We were trying to get access for everybody in the town, outside of the town, to launch their boats in the res. And Tommy Theodore really stood up. And there's a section in town, the Earl Newhouse. It was named after the first black police officer in this town, Earl Newhouse. He was an amazing guy. And over the years, that area had gotten neglected. And if it wasn't for Tommy Theodore, that whole area probably wouldn't have gotten cleaned up as fast as it was, with all new picnic tables, new barbecue grills. He had everybody. Tommy can assemble people. He had everybody.
Tommy actually went against people who supported him, who wanted to close it down. And he says, no, I see both sides of this. And he brought us together, and we had cleanups and cookouts. That didn't mean we all saw eye to eye. But
he had the DPW on their own time helping them.
Yeah. And honestly, I called up Tommy, and this is, again, just a character reference for this man. I said, can I borrow a grill? We're going to have a cookout for the Historical Society. And he says, I'll let you borrow the grill under one condition, and that is you let me buy the food. And he and Mike Laughlin came, and they cooked the whole day.
Oh, and he cooked, right. And he stood by the grill the whole day.
They bought the food. They brought the grill. They did the cooking. Well, that's what happens in a small town. And so when people say conflicted, I think you have, and by the way, all of you who are out there who are in small towns and communities here in Massachusetts, southeastern Massachusetts, it's no different in your town. If you think it's different, that means you're just not involved in the day-to-day. In the day-to-day, it is the same people who are doing the governance of a community. Remember, it's government for the people, by the people. We are the people. And so the individuals who work for the community, and you're a people too. That's right.
We got questions coming in about Lucky Laughlin. You brought up DPW. Do you guys know Lucky?
I did. I graduated with Lucky. We were in band together. I was a band geek.
I've gone hiking with the guy. Yeah. He had a real tragic.
He took care of his wife. His wife passed away just recently. For years, he took care of her. Worked multiple jobs. That kid. Let me tell you something.
His wife was very sick.
Lucky.
He stood by her.
I admire you.
Yeah, he was amazing. So yeah, we know him to be a really honorable and honest guy.
Yep.
And have you talked? Have you talked to him at all about any of this? You know, what's going
No,
on?
so
I don't talk to anybody.
truth
about
be known,
this.
so I don't live in town anymore. I do cut through town almost daily, but I live a few towns away. You know, I recently had gotten divorced and moved on. So I kind of lost touch with a lot of people in town. I don't frequent the establishments in town anymore. I have a whole other area that I go to.
The thing about Jonathan is
Yeah.
he's because of all of this, he's
Yeah.
afraid to drive through town. They're going to tase
No,
him. They're going to tase me. It's only
That's
a
why
matter of
we're in
time.
an undisclosed location.
We are not even in Canton.
No.
right now.
Do you?
We
That, I know you guys are saying that half jokingly, but there's some seriousness to that a little bit.
No,
I bet.
not from
No.
either.
Not from
I do get nervous because of your website. Honestly,
Absolutely not.
uh
Do you?
so I don't, probably because I'm an idiot.
But do you worry? Do you worry
But
about me?
my
Do you worry about me?
you already know I do because you know
You
you're in the battle zone. I mean, you're right here. You know, you're at ground zero. No, sometimes, and like I said, I preface this before. Not everything I post, yeah, okay, my name's to it, but I'm getting bombarded by people like, could you please post this, or would you do this for me? I'm like, yep, I will. Sometimes it's funny, and I'm like, oh, some of it's mine, you know, and but my significant other is concerned, but you know, it is what it is. You know, tell her to suck it up.
Yeah, but you
Sweetie,
say that's
sweetie, I didn't say.
Wow. Do you hear that?
No,
Wow.
no. Oh,
Wow. That's on Friday nights.
I
right?
know. I'm gonna
Tonight's
get.
a Friday night.
I'm gonna get
Well,
cuffed
you're not gonna get
tonight.
that happen tonight.
I know,
Not for you.
and they're not gonna.
you're
get
in
fucked.
trouble.
You are out in the
No.
yard.
Notice
tonight.
I didn't say anything. I got cameras. I got all kinds of stuff. Believe me.
Oh God! Can we edit that out? You're
I
in
was
trouble.
on a docs list for the,
Yo,
the
you're-
neo-Nazi group.
Oh, you
really?
are?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they didn't
Really?
do anything. They're a bunch. It's so funny. They like threaten you and then they don't do anything.
I don't
Like,
think I would
Yeah.
talk about that.
No, I did. I got a lot of early on. I got a lot of texts, private texts. My fiance got some texts, and she never even posts. She's not even from here. And you know, she came home one day and showed me, and I'm like, nah, you know, sorry. You know, they're coming after you because of me. Sorry.
Yeah,
You know?
and my wife is an elected official here in town, and she's not on Facebook anymore. I mean, I think she sees the it's a race to the bottom in a lot of ways in terms of sort of keyboard warriors just throwing
Whose
stuff
breasts
out there and
I'm just looking at the
Whose
bodies
breasts?
behind us.
The breasts?
Yeah, I know.
oh, they're beautiful breasts.
I know.
Aren't they?
Sorry.
That one, they're the same breasts.
All right, keep going.
Anyway,
She's
sorry.
on the planning board.
Yeah, my wife's on the planning board. My brother, I was on the planning board for 11 years. My brother Jeremy was on there for 15 years, and then my wife is on now doing the second part of her second term. So we're all pretty active, but her view on Facebook is different than mine, and it's largely. She would like to see the kitten memes and
Yeah.
cocker spaniels and all
Yeah,
the other stuff.
right.
And I get it. I think it can wear your life down. For those of you who are watching this, how much of your time is spent sort of getting sucked into the story, and it is all a race.
That was
a
another
race to the
reason I
bottom.
brought Angela along too, because we needed a third person. Because sometimes you do need to take a break. You have to take a step away. You got a day, 2 days. Like George just went on vacation, right? I went to Sturgis a couple weeks ago.
Yes,
and
but listen, I will tell you something about Canton Confidential. When this first hit and this flooded the page and it took over everything, right? There was a point at which I was getting calls and people like, if you love the town, and I know you do, they would appeal to my better angels and say, I know you love
Shut
the
it down.
town, shut it down.
Yeah.
And it got pretty much
we did.
on
We paused it.
Well, I did. It got on
Yeah.
my conscience. You weren't involved yet.
No.
And so
I was
and
pissed.
here's what happened. He was
He
so
paused
angry
it
at
on
me.
me.
So I paused it for
All my
18
memes had to
days.
sit on hold.
For 18 days, I shut it down. And I said, I'm shutting it down for 18 days. And at the end of 18 days, I opened it back up. He was so angry with me.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? I'll tell you what. You can have the
I was
page.
like,
I'll
"No, I
just
don't
give
want
it to you.
I
He
don't
goes,
want
I
it.
don't want it because if I gave it to him,
And I got to do the
would
work.
be, it would be,
I couldn't.
but it would also be the Wild West. You'd allow things that you shouldn't.
Oh yeah, and I would. Right.
You don't know where the line is.
No, I don't.
And you
and
cross
that's the good thing is George being the lawyer will know. Like, no, that's gonna come down. Me was like, oh, that's funny, haha.
Let me ask you. I got 3 questions lined up right now for you.
Yeah,
One is about the take it down.
Yeah.
Has anyone in office or any business people ever asked you to take down posts? Number one. Number
Absolutely.
2, question came in. Where is Angela tonight? She was supposed to be on the show.
Angela's
And number
pregnant.
3, Have you
between us,
tried the
between us.
mediocre chicken parm? Is it actually mediocre? Those three
Yes.
questions.
So first question, yes. People have called. They've begged, borrowed, cried,
Yep.
yelled, screamed, anger, all that. Yes, absolutely. And that includes private citizens. That includes public officials. That includes anybody you can imagine who would want to have, who has my cell phone. They've called and asked for things to be taken down or the page just totally obliterated. Totally. And my moral stance on that was rooted in the U.S. Constitution and the First Amendment. And I say to them all the time, no, First Amendment, I'm going to allow it. And if I think there's going to be a post that is going to cause harm or is really, I mean, I never liked the post where people were picking on people's looks or weight.
Now let me,
I mean,
so I had been in private talks with Sean McCabe. I think Sean McCabe is misunderstood. I've never met him personally, but we've had some discussions privately. And I did make him this promise. And now I'm telling everybody. He asked me, he said, why do you allow people to make fun of my family members' looks and this and that? And I said, you know what, Sean? I vow to you right now, I'm going to go back through this page. I'm going to search for any certain keywords and pictures or whatever, and I will take them down right now. And I went through and I took about 11 or 12 of them down, and I texted them right back, and I told them, I said, listen, I took 12 of them down. And now moving forward, on this page, we will not allow anybody to make fun of someone else's looks, their body, anything like that. You can have funny memes, but you can't attack their person. And I have stood hard, fast and hard, whatever you want to say, however you say it. I made that promise to him, and I continue to make that promise. And most of my memes that I personally created have never attacked someone's the same thing. I've never attacked their looks, their weight, anything. Well, George's maybe, but
he attacks my weight all the time.
But other than that, no. I'm being 100% serious on this part right here. Now, same thing.
So there are rules, there are boundaries, and Jonathan just made a point. He has swum freely in the pool.
Oh yeah.
I don't go in the pool.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be the lifeguard sitting on the chair, but I'm not going in the pool. And so, and somebody just made a good point about shutting down Canton Confidential. It's just going to come somewhere else. And my fear is what comes up is actually even worse because they don't really have any breaks on the comments. And if you want those sites, they're out there.
Yeah.
You know they're out there, and that's fine. We sort of see that stuff, but I'm looking forward to the day when nobody's looking at the page again, and we don't have to monitor.
When it's somebody left their trash barrel out one day too long.
Yeah,
right.
That's
like it's been out for 2 days. They haven't even, and I'm waiting on that because my first thing would be like, have you ever thought about bringing it in for them? I know we are. Everybody says that forever. My ex-wife used to say that all the time.
Oh, my wife is like, oh, you two just
spend more time together than you do with us.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
But my thing would be, why don't you bring the barrel in for them? If it affects you that much that somebody's barrel stayed out too long after trash day, be a good neighbor and wheel it back for them.
All right, we got. You guys answered one question out of the three. We got two other. Where's Angela? And
so Angela,
is the chicken parm mediocre?
Angela had some family things. She's got a 4-year-old. And she's
karate and
she's
a mom.
She's a mom, so she's in the middle of her prego.
She works harder than we do. Yeah. She's a mom.
So we told her, we said, listen,
we gave her the option.
Put the kid to sleep, give him a little something, Benadryl, put him to sleep. As soon as he's out, she's got the link. Come on in.
Yeah, just come in at that
point. She's probably sitting there watching.
Like, I saw her husband was watching.
I can't believe she hasn't texted yet.
Your husband was watching.
He was.
Angela's husband. Get Angela in here.
Angela's husband. Why don't you rock the kid to sleep and let Angela take the laptop for once?
One of the comments just came in. Angela knew better. She's too smart.
She was originally, she wanted to be with us. She's like, can I be in the same room? I go, I don't know if we're all going to fit on the camera. I'm like 290. You know, George.
I'm the same. I'm the same right now.
I'm like, how are we going to fit this little Asian girl in front of us? You know, it's like,
listen to that. You pulled the Asian card.
Angela, that was for you.
Pulled the Asian.
All right, so that's the big question that everyone wants to know. Is the chicken farm
We tried the
mediocre?
chicken parm. We had it for dinner.
I've gone on record and I said this again. If I still lived in town, there's a couple different places that I always use, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't have my problem is with everything that's going on. My problem isn't with his business. You know, it's none of my business. As long as I can eat the food, I don't care.
So it's not bad. It's mediocre.
I
Is it
haven't had
mediocre?
chicken palm. I've had their pizza.
And
The pizza's fine.
What would you give it a rating? 1 to 10.
I'm not. What's his name? The one bite one.
give
Put
him
him
a-
up.
oh,
Put
you
no.
did?
I'm not David.
you watch
Portnoy.
that
I
guy?
did. Did you see
Oh,
that? Hey,
did you see
did
that?
you see that? The guy
The
in
David
Somerville.
Courtney
Dragon
thing?
Pizza.
Dragon
Pizza.
pizza.
Oh my God! The guy came out. Get the fuck
Poor
off
guy.
my sidewalk.
Yeah.
That's not your side. Well, get the
Loser.
fuck. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
stop it! I told you I'm not going there.
No,
I don't
told
get
you
either
I'm
one of
not
them.
going there.
It's
I
like-
know it's so
Yeah.
I
hard.
told
I
you.
made
no.
the HD. It's
Yeah, but I
hard.
told you these are the
I
no goes.
know.
There's a
I
list.
know.
We have a list of no goes
Cross
tonight.
that one off.
You did the whole Lucid thing. I told you not to.
Sorry.
The chicken
no.
parm. Yeah, the chicken parm calzone is apparently 10 out of 10. Somebody
The thing
said.
is with any
I
sub
don't know.
shop, everybody has their favorite sub shop in town. Everybody does, and you know, so to some people it's not their sub shop. To a lot of people, it's definitely not their sub shop because of the story. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Do you like Jersey Mike's?
I do, but it's expensive.
Yeah, but
I love Jersey Mike's, but it's
Well,
freaking
you get what
expensive.
you pay for.
It's the same thing with Chinese food. Some people will swear by this one Chinese restaurant, and other people will.
All right,
you know?
wait. The guy says they didn't answer the question.
Yeah,
the question is,
I-
have we had the chicken
No,
parm?
I haven't had the chicken parm.
No, we have
I had his
not.
pizza. I've had D&E pizza.
And-
We grew up on D&E pizza. There used to, you know, I mean,
He
No,
had
it's right in
chicken
the middle of
parm
the
for
center.
dinner, however.
no, I had chicken bacon ranch.
That's what that was?
Yeah, it was.
How do you feel?
I'm fine.
Where'd you get it?
Walpole C. Scott, but they're not advertising on here, so we're not saying it.
Did they pay you to say this?
They did not. Walpole C. Scott did not tell me about their subs.
They're really good.
All right, keep going. Next
All right,
question.
That
Jerk.
was, we answered the questions, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did.
Angela, chicken palm. What was the third?
I think you got them all. I think you
What
got
was
them
it?
all.
Yeah,
We got
we
them all.
That was painless.
You're paying
So
them.
for the 4 people watching,
There's only 4 people left.
There's a
They're
lot of
only one.
actually we have lost a few, but
I know
we
we
got,
have.
yeah.
We told
And
you.
guess what?
We told
And
you.
we
Hey,
told
we
you
still
not
have-
to bring us on.
honestly, we
You
still-
didn't listen.
no, we still got 500 people listening to you right now.
What? You got people? Can you imagine?
Woo!
I know.
We're micro celebrities.
I'm kind of shocked by it too. Dan
Yeah.
O'Donnell says 400 on YouTube
I
apparently.
told
Oh,
I
gee,
see
Paul,
500 total.
Stop it. I told
Yeah.
you not to.
You said she was watching.
No go.
Yeah, see,
But
they're
I
saying there's
said-
400 on YouTube. I'm showing 500 total because we're on other places
I
too.
said to my wife weeks ago, because I got this stupid ego, and that is, I'm a micro celebrity. She says, "Yeah, but you're a micro celebrity, right, Mike Crawford?" Is that his name?
Crawford,
I
yes.
said,
I don't like. Yeah, no,
Are
I'm
you
not a
micro
celebrity.
Hold on. Do people recognize you when you go out?
Oh,
Sometimes, and not
And
usually.
how
I
does that
mean,
work? You get things free?
you know what? I used to get a lot more things free because I used to go out more. Now I'm just walking dogs.
well,
Well,
I
I
got,
don't
I got,
Like if I
I got-
guarantee if I go to that when I go to that Freedom Rally, the Hemp Fest, I guarantee I'll get a lot of free
I
shit. Yeah.
got recognized
By the way,
once.
kudos on the whole hemp fest, but I don't understand why you even need a hemp fest anymore, because
I
it's
know.
legal in Massachusetts. I'm a huge advocate.
You got
for
7 of them hanging over there.
It. What?
Of
Hemps?
your pot plants.
I
hanging,
grew 12 plants the first year.
Nice.
It was legal.
and
Nice.
hung them in his attic.
Very
Yes.
good. I
The
got
whole
one
attic
going.
was full. The smell.
So
No,
I-
we still need it because it's pretty still messed up.
How is it messed up? I just came back from Canada.
Over
right?
taxation.
Oh God!
The employees are dying at work and
Employees
being
are dying
underpaid.
at work.
Yeah.
in
Dying of
sheds?
what?
Where are they dying?
Yeah. It's the 27-year-old
woman?
died.
What?
27-year-old died at work cultivating. And she's
How?
working
Wait a
the
minute, how?
processing.
How?
And
Because let me
it's-
tell you, when the people die
Can
at
I
my
hear-
work,
can
they
I
go,
hear
they
him?
fall into crushers.
Can I hear him?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let him go. How
Let
did
me
this
speak,
man
John.
die?
Inhalation. It's like we don't actually know that's a problem. Basically, there's an issue with too much dust in the air and toxins and that stuff. And people can be around I could grow like you're growing 12 plants, right? You'd be totally fine. You go into these cultivation sites where they have
I've been.
thousands of plants
Yeah,
growing.
yeah.
And a lot of times they'll stick 12 people in a room like my size that I'm in right now, or even more. And they're processing it and the dust goes everywhere. The dry cannabis goes everywhere. So
So-
people are inhaling it and they have allergic reactions, both rashes and breathing issues.
You know what
And-
fixed this? I'll tell you what would fix this. If you federalize the legalization of it, then OSHA would be involved.
Well,
OSHA's not
OSHA
involved.
kind of is involved. I was the first one to call them actually about
I
6
did
years
not.
ago. And that's what they said to me when I called 6 years ago. But now they are involved.
All
They
right.
find this place, but they only find them 20 grand. And then they knocked it down to 10 or something. It's just,
20
no,
grand
actually it was
is
40 and then it was 20.
Really.
But yeah, so
All right. Well, kudos to you for advocating for workers' rights. I do think that's really important. But I think Massachusetts is, it's slower than it should happen in terms of the whole legalization process of it. But it seems to be coming along.
yeah.
And George is for it. George was all for it.
All for it.
Me, I've never,
Do you ever get high?
I've never smoked pot.
Never?
No,
Ever?
I've had a CDL since I was
Oh, well, you can't.
20 years old.
Yeah. No, you can't.
Yeah.
No. He can't.
They still haven't changed that?
What?
Oh no,
CDL?
this guy. Trust me, I know.
You could drink though. You could drink alcohol though, right?
Which is crazy.
Of course.
So you
That's
can have
crazy.
wine.
It's
and beer,
amazing.
You do
Yeah.
everything you want, but you can't get high.
You got to change that.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as
How's
you're
your
not drunk or
water?
high at work.
How's your water, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Bubbly.
It's bubbly. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, because
Go ahead.
we've covered a lot on the Canton stuff, as much
Yep.
I think as you probably want to get into.
Or you do.
I would love to ask more. I would love to, but
Oh, go ahead, ask. I can try to tone it down a little bit.
I can leave.
what do you guys want? Is there anything that you want to share tonight?
Oh, we do have a plug
We have a plug.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We don't even know what he's doing
No,
tomorrow.
I do remember.
His brain's so fried.
Now I'm fried. Oh, I'm so high. No, I'm not. But here's what it is. Tomorrow, so I love the history of this town, and it's a very historic town. Paul Revere built a whole factory.
Paul Revere lost a lawsuit in this town.
3 lawsuits.
Three. Lost 3
Yeah,
lawsuits in
Big,
this
big
town.
deal. But tomorrow, the Canton Historical Society is having its old fashioned yard sale. And that's going to be down at 93 Pleasant Street. You can come. I'll sign autographs. I will. He thinks we're on NPR now. All of a sudden, the show became NPR.
Oh.
It's like, and if you come on down to the Tilden House, you're going to be able to buy all sorts of crap that other people donated. And at that point, you're going to give us some money, and we're going to preserve the town of Canton.
Awesome. Sounds like fun.
Don't you know? Don't you know? I just got back from an incredible vacation, by the way.
Me too. I went to Sturgis.
Yeah, he
I went to
drove a
Sturgis.
motorcycle
I drove
1,000 miles
2,000.
to turn around and come right
I
back.
drove it 2,000 miles out to Sturgis with a buddy of mine,
Yeah.
and 2,000 miles back.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And George went to Canada.
I was
That's like work.
What?
I never got that. That's like work driving that
It
far.
was awesome. It was unbelievable.
How's your
I'd
butt?
do it again. Oh, it was $1,000 seat. It was awesome.
You bought $1,000 seat.
No, it was his.
Oh,
Awesome. I want to thank you guys for being here from Canton
that's it?
Confidential.
It's over. It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
An hour.
you did an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
that's pretty good. That's
Hour and
pretty
3
good.
minutes.
And how much did we make? Oh, look at me. We made $2,700 by diverting your Cash App to
Yeah.
ours. That is amazing.
You wish.
We do want to thank anyone that actually watched for the whole hour.
Yeah, if you watch for the whole
Watch it,
hour.
put
They're
up with
still
us.
here.
Yeah.
No, thank you for very much. And
And thank
Most
you.
of them are haters, and they're writing down all the notes that I'm gonna get these horrible text messages tomorrow.
You think so?
Oh, I know it.
Really?
It's coming.
Wow.
I know it.
I don't know. We can always put the page on an 18-day moratorium
We
again.
They want to know actually before we let you go, because I want to play some
Us.
clips tonight from the Karen Reed stuff too, because there's been a lot
Yeah.
of updates too.
Go ahead.
But they want to know how's about those mannequins? What is up with those mannequins behind
George?
you?
Well,
I've been married for 30 years, and sometimes things get a little tough after 30 years of marriage. And, you need a little something to cuddle. We got mannequins.
or if you want multiple people in the bedroom, you
And
just bring
here's
one
the
of the
thing.
mannequins
And
up.
you can't get syphilis from these
No.
things. It's unbelievable. They're-
That's good.
You
yeah,
can
it's a-
hose them down afterwards.
Right, you can
And
hose
they
them
don't even get
down.
mad
I
at
mean,
you.
syphilis is a bad thing. Just so you know, it's
Yeah.
it's treatable, and I'm not
Yeah.
making joke about syphilis, but you can't get it from
No.
these things.
No, he
That's
really got it.
What?
Well, how'd you get them?
syphilis?
No.
Oh.
The mannequins.
The mannequins. I was like, what do you know that I don't? Because I don't think I have
No,
it.
tell them the truth.
How did I? There was a store closing, like Forever 21 was closing. I worked downtown in Boston, and they were sort of clearing stuff out, and that would have gone in the trash. And I said, those would make great Halloween things.
Yeah.
So I took them home for Halloween. I got a room next to here full of them. But there's mannequins everywhere. If anybody ever broke into my house, they'd be like, what the fuck? They'd be like, it's like definitely like, it puts the lotion in the basket. That's basically what it is.
I admire George so much. He's not only is he a lawyer, he's a federal lawyer. Right?
Yeah,
he's a federal lawyer.
U.S. Supreme Court.
We actually almost got thrown. We almost got thrown. Secret Service almost threw us in
detention for 48
Connecticut.
hours.
They were going to bring us to Connecticut.
Oh, we got in trouble. We got in so much trouble with the U.S. Secret Service. He and I
in Canton.
In Canton, of all places.
He calls me up one day on the street we grew up on. He goes, "Hey, John, you got to come down here. There's something going on. There's guys in suits and they're walking around the condo complex." And he's parked in the condo complex.
I'm in the condo on a hill. And so we're on the sidewalk. We're on a public
sidewalk.
So
I pull up behind them and I get in the car with them and we're talking and they keep staring at us. And then one starts walking to us and George goes, just let me do the talking.
Let me do the talking. I said, I'm a lawyer, I'll do the talking. And it's just, he looks like he's right out of Central Casting. And I said to Jonathan, I said, it's either a mob thing or the secrets. I don't know what it is, but it looks like one of those things, right? So the guy comes over and he's got the trench coat, the buzz cut. He's literally, he's what you think, right? Yep. And this is what he says. He goes, "Hey, you guys live here?" And I said, "Yeah, up the street. Why? Do you live here?"
He asked him, "Do you live here?"
And he says, "No, I don't live here."
I don't.
And the guy says, "Can I see your ID?" And I said, "My ID? Can I see your ID?" And he says, "Sure." And he pulls out. He goes, "Agent Jones, U.S. Secret Service."
And George asked the other guy to his tool. He goes, "Can I see your ID?" He goes, "I don't show you my."
He showed me his ID. So I said, "All right, I'll show you my ID." So I pull out, and this is a true story. I pulled out my wallet. I took out my license, and I said, "George Camo, citizen." This kid is like shitting bricks. I'm like
ribbing him, like, let's go.
He said after, he goes, "You had balls. So you said you called yourself a citizen in front of the Secret
Service."
No,
you said lawyer.
No, I said citizen then.
First,
lawyer came later.
Yeah.
So the guy says, he goes, "This is how it's going to work." And when they say that, they mean you're going to do something. And I didn't really interpret it that way. And he says, "This is how it's going to work. I'm going to walk away. And then in about 2 or 3 minutes, you're going to get in your cars and you're going to drive away. Okay?" And I go, "Yeah, okay." He didn't get to the other side of the street. And he certainly didn't get to 3 minutes when he turns around and he says,
"Sometime today." And I'm like, and I want to get back in my car. And I told him, no, don't.
Stand your ground.
Yeah, he wants me to stand down.
Stand your ground. So the guy walks across the street. I get in my car and I go in one direction. Jonathan gets
in my car and I pulled in. So where we grew up was only like 8 houses away.
Is this detail important?
Yes. So I pull into the driveway of our house.
Meanwhile, I call up Jonathan. I go, "They're following me, and there's 2 cars following me,
to Norwood,
and there's 2 cars following him." I pulled into the little donut shop down the street, and I called up Jonathan. I go, "John, they're with me. 1 car on either side at the parking lot." And I'm like, they're looking at me. I'm looking at them. I go, "I don't like this. We put our nose where it doesn't belong. Something's going on with this. The government's not happy."
So he takes off.
Let's just go home. So I take off. I get into a high-speed chase with these
dudes. And he goes
dudes.
into a cul-de-sac like
an idiot. That's how bad I was at this. I go down the street. There's a light that's changing from green to red. The Secret Service guy behind me, he keeps going through the light. I blow a red light, go into a cul-de-sac that's in the shape of a lollipop. I go to the left, he goes to the right. The car sprouted lights and sirens that you'd never seen before.
They cornered him in there.
They get out, right? And he walks up to the car, and the window comes down, and I said, "Can I help you?" and he goes, "All right, listen, we told you to leave the area, and you're screwing around." And I said,
"How big's the area?
How big's this area? I'm a mile away from where this all started. How big is your area?" And he goes, "You think you're really smart? Okay, I'll tell you what. License and registration." I go, "Well, can I see your IDs?" He goes, "You know who we are. Stop screwing around with us." And so I give him my license and the registration of the car, and I had a pad of paper. And the agent says, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm writing down your license plate. I don't know who you are or why you're doing this to me. This is ridiculous. And I'm like feigning all sorts of stupidity, right? And meanwhile, the other agent is opening up the passenger side of my vehicle. I said to him, I go, you can't do this. You're not allowed to open my car. Shut the door. He shuts the door, comes around, and goes, you know, you think you're pretty smart, don't you? And here's when I said the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. I said, yeah, you know why? Because I'm a lawyer. That was the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. He says to me, he goes, oh, really? What kind of lawyer are you? Are you a federal lawyer? What's a federal lawyer? I'm a lawyer, okay? I mean, I passed the bar last year. I'm a lawyer. And he says, well, do you understand under U.S. Code Section 344, subsection 12, that I can detain you for up to 48 hours for interference with the protective detail of a visiting head of state? And I said, well,
bye.
I said, well, no, but I do believe you. I said, I do believe that probably sounds like something that would be in the U.S. Code. I said, tell you what, this is all a big misunderstanding. This is just stupidity. I said, I am really sorry. And he says, you know, we can detain you. And that's when I realized I'm not wearing any underwear. And I'm thinking to myself, if I go into federal custody, what's that going to be like?
So then he goes, what is your little buddy doing
like, "What's your little
parked
buddy?"
in front of a house? He goes, my brother? He goes, we live there,
Yeah,
right?
so-
He goes, tell him to go home and to stay home for the weekend.
And he sent me home till 4 o'clock, and they parked out in front. I came inside. My wife says, did you do the shopping for Nana? I said, no, I had a little run-in with the feds. I said, a little problem, and they're parked across the street. I'm not allowed to leave the house. She goes, what the hell is wrong with you? She says, this is unbelievable.
So, wait. So then George decides to call the Canton police chief.
I did. I called the police chief, and I said to the chief at the time, it was Chief Bright, really great guy. I said, Chief Bright, you know, the federal agents, they just stopped me up on Walpole Street, and I was detained for a little bit, and they asked me some questions. Are they allowed to do that? And he goes, George, we don't know what they can and can't do. We just stay away from them.
And he says, we're aware.
We're aware that
they
we already told them that you're not. They had already
checked the police.
They
on.
knew. They knew.
They knew what they were dealing with.
It was the president of Pakistan's son graduating from BU.
And it was President Musharraf was visiting his son at a condo. Why he couldn't stay in a hotel was beyond me.
Those are major gangster types. You gotta be careful.
And ever since then, they closed the whole street off after that. They wouldn't even let you down the street.
They called it
the next couple years.
The Camo barricade.
Yeah.
They had to open up the perimeter so wide that nobody could go in again. That's a true story. I have a healthy respect for the U.S. Secret Service, and I have.
I bet you do now.
Doesn't sound like it now, but I've
They
been
don't
on
wanna-
the details. No, I've been with them on the details and all. I've been with President Bush. I've been with a number senior. So I got through all of the background checks after that incident. So I'm okay.
We got one last question.
Go ahead.
Bunch of people want to know if you'll accept them into Canton Confidential, the Facebook group tonight.
Listen,
You give amnesty to people, let everyone in tonight, or what?
Maybe tonight we'll let more people.
You know what? Let's just see. Well, let's do this live. All right, we're gonna do this live.
If you're waiting now,
right? If you're waiting right now, we're gonna check it.
Just do it on mass.
I'm gonna mass.
This is a one-time only.
One time only. It's 29 people.
Doesn't mean you're gonna stay in. 29 people.
29 people want to get in. My biggest rule was I didn't want any anonymous people in that have just had their Facebook page for 1 month.
By the way,
right?
If we find
ready?
out,
here we go. I want you, the 29 people that are watching us, ready? Approve all. There you go. You're all in. Okay, you're all. Hey, what are you doing? Get that out of here!
Oh, somebody asked.
Christ, you're all in. 29 people that were waiting.
That's
I just let you all in.
We make things happen here.
There you
Young
go. All
Jurks
because of
making
you.
it happen.
I've been denying people left and right, except for the ones that say, "I know John, come up." So then I'm like,
there's a few more. A few
like
more people are trying to get in, John. You might have to check it again.
We do research the people.
We if you actually come to our door, we go and we dig into your page, we look at stuff, we go, do we like
and if you
these
only have a couple pictures, then we got to look at all the people that have liked your pictures, and then we got to go into that and see where they live. And so even though you've locked down your page, you really haven't, because we can find.
We look at your friends and your friends.
Yeah.
I mean, we do our due diligence.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much, brothers. Como, is that right?
No, you
Come
screwed
on.
it up.
Come on,
again.
come on, come on, come on.
How is it? Wait a minute. How is it? Turtle can butcher everybody else's name in this whole story, and he got ours right, and he didn't even know me, even though he did get a picture of me and my Canadian bikini.
Oh, we let Michelle in. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Hey,
I was the guy that that Jennifer sent a picture of me in my Furry Friday costume there.
All right, so listen, thank you all for watching and
Yeah.
sticking with us tonight. I hope you respect my opinion and Jonathan's opinion. We respect your opinions, and thank you for letting us be part of your show.
Majority of you people, I'm with you.
I
Come on.
might be with you after the jury.
But he doesn't
comes in.
say. Right,
Let
George
the
just don't say.
Once
Yeah.
I see what the jury says, then I'm happy to say that. And when do we get the jerk merch?
Jerk merch. Oh, we're gonna be on.
You guys have to
We're-
design it first. Yeah, that's
can
John's
design
job.
it,
trust
and-
me, I got plenty of
And I
time.
think you're going to need you need a jerk
Yeah.
curtain for
A
your
jerk
masturbatorium.
jerk curtains,
behind you.
jerk
Exactly.
towels, jerk condoms. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
people are
Jerk
jerking
curtain.
with your stuff.
Because he's in the masturbatorium.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go. There
I'm
you go.
jerking with the jerk.
I'm jerking with the jerk. You're on fire.
That's a new title.
All right.
Oh, it's a-
New slogan.
Oh,
Jerking with the jerk. Tonight at 8.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, it's mom again. All right.
Jesus.
Good night.
All
Good
right,
night, guys.
Bye.
I'll see you.
Bye.
Thank you. I'll
Bye.
see you on Canton Confidential.
Thanks.
Well, we're not letting you in.
He's in.
I'm already
He's
in.
No,
Don't,
he's been in.
don't tell him, John.
Oh, he got in a fight with Mike Cavity.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
He's a good
No,
guy.
I
I
did
do
not.
like Mike.
I
He's
like
very
Did I
liberal.
get in a fight with anyone?
What?
Did I? don't
Yeah,
think-
you're the one that you. So Mike
Did I
Cavity is a great kid. His mother was my science teacher. She electrocuted all of us with this. Oh, it was the best thing. You would all hold these things while someone else would crank as hard as they could and you'd get shocked. It was the best thing from school that I remember. So Mike Cavity.
But I
It's
watched
very
the
liberal.
show. I
Mike
watched
Cavity.
the-
I know Mike
trying to
Cavity.
turn it into political
But
stuff.
here's the thing. I watched.
No, I
the
like
show-
Mike. Mike's a good guy.
I watched your show when my neighbor Jennifer Trethaway was on, and you asked a lot of questions of whether the town is
He couldn't ask
liberal
questions
or
'cause you talked
conservative.
the whole
No,
time.
I watched the show,
Yeah.
and you were so much into is your town liberal, conservative? I don't think it really matters, does it? I mean, what was your angle on wondering whether the town?
No,
is
no, it was more
conservative or
about the
liberal?
fact for me. I was getting a lot of shit. I'm liberal. I'm left wing.
Can we? We
So,
where did you grow up?
But you're-
John,
wait,
John, let me
you're-
finish the thought.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a lot of shit from people on the left for working with Turtle Boy. So here I'm seeing a shitload of what looks like to me. I've seen similar groups in my town, left wing liberal grandmas,
Yeah.
kind of working with Turtle Boy.
a
So
lot of
I'm like,
people-
why are we upset about people working together? Like that was my point.
There's sometimes that I think he's funny, and then there's sometimes I think he's funny, and then I cringe, going, "Oh, I just like I know 10 people aren't gonna like whatever he just said." But so, the thing is, he's not for everyone. Just like there's a lot of people I don't like that are way too.
I say leave his politics, leave the stuff you don't like, and take
Yeah,
what you.
That's
like.
why we don't
That's
like
way
the
I look
politics
at it.
on our page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't like you even. I saw you even said, well, maybe you could like let memes in, like political memes. I'm telling you,
No, I
all-
don't want that.
all
No,
it would take is for one Trump meme and one Biden meme, and everybody would lose their shit because they're like, "Oh my God, no! How dare you? How dare you?" It's the same thing. Like for so many years, the town of Canton didn't allow lawn signs for elections. It just was a gentleman's agreement that nobody would put up lawn signs. It wasn't a law or a rule. They just never did it. And then just over the last couple of years, you just see them popping up. And
But I
you know,
don't. I honestly, I understand what's happening in the national politic in terms of. So I'm also a library commissioner here in the Commonwealth, and so I again, First Amendment, right to read, and all
yeah,
that
check
stuff
on
is really
Kelly.
important. And the truth of it is, you have such a bifurcated country these days, where the littlest thing is setting people off on both sides. And I heard the former vice president's speech quite recently, and I thought, there's some elements of truth in what he's saying in terms of the extremes on either end, whether it's Trumpism or whether it's, ultra liberalism. And I just kind of hope we get more into the middle where we can at least respect other people. We don't have to agree. but
That's
can
what
we
I'm
at least
saying.
Respect some
Why
of
can't
them?
we talk to each other? Just
Oh,
because I
people
had
can
Turtle
wait
Boy
for
on the
the
show,
dialogue
people
is
want to
going
cancel me.
horrible.
Yeah.
My
Like, give me a
little brother-
break.
My little brother is very well to the other side. We never speak because all it takes is for one comment to go the wrong way, and it is a drawn out battle, and
Yeah.
George has to come in between.
Yeah, I try to, you try to get people at least talking, and that's
So why not just not talk about that shit? Like
We
that's
don't.
my point. Don't talk
We
about
have-
Well,
politics.
no, but
Talk
I
about
don't
shit
think that solves
you
anything.
like, you agree on.
You think
That's
you
what
think
I'm
that
at now.
solves anything? You have to, you actually have to see other people's point of view to at least get closer to the middle. If you just drown it out, I mean, the
Yeah,
country
don't.
is headed to, you have to hear some of it. And so you find the reasonable people who are conservatives and liberals and whatnot, and you get those people together. And my hope is that's the sort of majority of where it goes. But we've been so divided, and the last several years have been so difficult. So that's the story.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the moderate centrist, I even consider myself somewhat centrist, honestly. We
Can I
get
ask where'd you
shut
grow
it
up?
down.
Like, what
We
part of
don't.
Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Yeah, where'd you grow up?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I grew up in. I moved around a lot, but my family grew up in. My grandfather was from Malden, and then
Yeah.
Oh,
So you're local.
my family grew up in Danvers,
that whole
and
area.
then I moved to Newbury Byfield. So
Yeah.
Oh, no,
and
so-
I've lived in different places too, like Salem,
So yeah.
you know,
So
but
it's
where-
hard for
where
you
did-
North Shore people to understand.
but I'm a
us.
North Shore guy.
Oh,
But I do have to go. I want to.
Where you
But
going?
last thing I want to say to you guys,
Good, you're
we
not-
got.
listen, you're not-
Where you
tell
going?
us. Where are you
I got
going?
other things to cover
Whoa.
here too. So,
What?
but before I let you guys go,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people still
Are there more people in the green room?
that aren't getting into Canton Confidential.
We
They're
just let 39 people in.
How many more are waiting?
Let's see. I just let 39 people in. Let me look again. Ready? 2.
Two.
All
so
right.
there's 2 more waiting.
All right.
I want all my
Leona,
people in the Canton
Leona and
Confidential.
Donna. You're
You're
getting
in. You're
in.
done.
Look, approval
Done.
confirmed.
Done.
Thank
Look
you,
forward.
guys.
40
There you go.
people.
You
Goodbye.
rule.
Good night,
Good
Good
everybody.
night,
go.
guys. You did your job.
Oh, I think that went
That went
well.
Thank you so much,
That
guys.
was good. We should let the other.
Oh my God, those guys were great. Thank them so much for coming on. John and George, that was fun. Some people didn't like it. A lot of people did. A lot of people were laughing. I want to play some video. We got video that I want to play from. Actually, it's not. They got a few videos in Canton Confidential too. I may play tonight, but I want to play about what's going on. Been a lot of updates. You may have noticed on this case.
25 investigates obtaining new court filings again today in the Karen Reed murder case. Lawyers for Reed want to know if there's video footage from the Canton home where victim John O'Keefe was found in the snow. In that filing, her defense is asking to subpoena Google for any records of a camera system at 34 Fairview Road. Karen Reed is accused of backing over her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, and leaving him for dead in January of 2022. At that time, the home was owned by Boston police officer Brian Albert. Court documents say Albert told a grand jury he was given a security camera for Christmas but never installed it. Reed's lawyers claim O'Keefe was beaten in the Albert home, then dragged outside. The prosecution calls that a fanciful conspiracy. The prosecution added 3 new filings of their own on Friday. The documents list dozens of items of evidence that the prosecution has turned over, including text messages between O'Keefe and a Canton police detective. The filing does not reveal what those texts say, but we do know O'Keefe reported concerns about drug activity to Canton detectives before his death. 25 investigates Ted Daniel was the first to break new details in this high-profile case yesterday and this morning. You can see our full coverage on Boston25news.com.
Isn't that classic? The person in the background. Imagine that. But yeah, there's been a lot of new developments. One of the things that I thought was really crazy is the prosecution has been talking about the human hair on Karen Reed's bumper, and it turns out there was no human. It's not human hair. It's not hair at all, apparently. And the defense is actually asking that Karen Reed, her large bail gets totally thrown out, and she gets freed on her own personal personal surety, whatever they call that. But there's been a lot of developments on this, and I expect more because this big hearing is coming up this Friday. I know a lot of you are going to be there protesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, and hopefully, I think Karen Reed is innocent. I think that charges should get thrown out. Hopefully, they will be. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not as like George tonight. George is very confident in the system and the process. He's going to let things play out. We have a show. I like to just kind of follow information and state my opinion. In my opinion, from everything that I've seen that the Turtle has reported, I believe she's innocent. I totally believe she's innocent. And I believe that a lot of people like Jennifer Coffindaffer or Daffy, I call her Coffin Daffy, and Wendy Murphy and some of these other folks that just hate the Turtle Boy. I think that they're going to be eating a lot of crow, because I really think that this is not going to turn out good for the naysayers. I think that we'll see what happens on the 15th. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens from here. But it's great to see Fox 25 starting to cover this and putting out not just what the prosecution says, but what the actual defense is now saying. That's due. So I figured I would play some of those videos tonight. I also wanted to close the show with some stuff on cannabis. There was we talked a little bit about the worker issue tonight. There was some testimony that I want to play to close out the show. Maybe we'll read some more comments. You know, one of the things I want to do is the Cash App. If you made a donation, I'm gonna read your message. I know that one at least came in. We'll see if any others came in tonight. Let's read the comment. I love the comments. Here it is from Ann. Ann writes, she sent $25 to us. She said, "Thank you for your coverage of the Canton cover-up." So if you do want to send us contributions, let us know why you're sending them. Send us a message that we can read on the show, whether tonight or another show. I know the Canton Confidential crew wants to take some of that money. I think they're trying to change my Cash App. George, it's not worth. It's only $25, George. I know these guys are still watching them. I've seen them in the green room. Those guys are having the best time of their lives tonight. People are like, Mike's so chill. Like, what else can I do? Those guys are fun. James Lynch writes, weed should be 100% legal. Yeah, it is pretty much legal in Mass, but there's still some issues. Another comment came in. My husband grows his own. He's like a little scientist. I grew a little bit this year too. I got one plant going. I'm loving it. It's so much fun. It's great to be able to do it legally. Something that we fought for a number of years to even be able to do that. Those two are ridiculous. Wendy, I guess Wendy Murphy's been posting some more crazy. I don't know actually, because Wendy has now blocked me. Which is pretty funny. I don't think Wendy liked me posting details about her legal her lawyer record, her sanction. She got sanctioned by a federal court. Another comment came as Karen Reed is innocent, no question. Again, there's going to be major events on Friday. I believe there's going to be some protests. There's rumors that the state police are going to be out. So I think people better be very careful not to get too rowdy there. You don't want to be the one that makes everyone look bad. So I hope everyone behaves themselves, and I'm sure you all will. Love this one. Bang, bang, white bread. Writes on YouTube, he says, Maine's weed scene is way better. Yeah, absolutely. I travel up to Maine a lot. I have a medical card, and Maine is unbelievable. I go to a caregiver up there. His name is Dalton, and Dalton's company is called Grove Cannabis. They are amazing. So if you have the medical card in Massachusetts, you can go up to Maine and you can go see some caregivers or some dispensaries up there, and they do take Massachusetts cards, and it's a great deal, great product. I love Maine. Just difficult to drive up there all the time. Maine is the best. Absolutely. I think it's by far the best for cannabis on the East Coast, Maine. Speaking of that, I do want to close tonight. Just reading more of the comments. I love the edibles. I'm a big fan of Kind Farms. They make the best chocolate bars. I've had Kind Farms up there. They're very good. Excellent. I guess tonight I want to close out. You know, again, there's a couple events I want to make people aware of. There's the Boston Freedom Rally this upcoming Saturday. That's going to be not tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, a week from this Saturday. What's the official day? Is that the 16th? I think it is. November 16th. September 16th, I guess it is. It's going to be Boston Common. It starts at noon, I believe. It's a free event on the Boston Common. It's all about cannabis. They got live music, live activism. We're going to be hosting a panel there with workers at about 4 p.m. So come check that out. It's going to be fun. I don't go out to a lot of events. If you want to see me, that's where I will hopefully be if there's not a major hurricane. Also on Friday night, there's the drive-in event in Taunton. They're doing a major fundraiser with Turtle Boy for the Free Karen Reed Fund. They're going to have a ton of raffles and giveaways. I saw some of the stuff that Nick Rocco had. They got Bruins helmets and Ray Bork signed jerseys and Butler, Butler from the Patriots that caught the interception, Malcolm Butler. They got his jersey, I believe, signature. So there's going to be a lot of good giveaways and raffles. So bring some extra money and raise a bunch of money for a Free Karen Reed. That's going to be on Friday night after the court hearing. So that's going to be cool too in Taunton. And also on Monday, this coming Monday, right after this weekend, there's a big golf tournament too that we're sponsoring. We're like a media sponsor. We support them. They're raising money. I want to read about that too. I want to make sure everyone knows about this Green Goddess Invitational. It's happening in Haverhill this Monday. They're going to be raising money, supporting Patriots, helping vets. And it's going to be a bunch of women. There's like 350 women playing golf who are all part of the cannabis industry, and they're raising money for veterans. So that's Caroline from STEM Haverhill. Really great event. Bunch of cannabis industry folks doing some good stuff for veterans this Monday. If you're around, check it out. I think, even if you're not golfing, you can probably, shoot over there and check it out. And I think they're going to have a little party. But the event on Friday night is definitely sold out. So tickets are gone. The brothers are in the green room right now, waving to me goodbye. Good night, guys. I see you in the green room. We will see you guys later. But before we leave tonight, we are going to play a video. Hopefully, if I can get this up. This was from earlier today. This is, a lot of folks that have been following the show for a while know that even before this Karen Reed movement that we've kind of jumped on, a lot of our last year was spent on cannabis workers and trying to help their plight. Lorna McMurray was 27 years old. We broke that story first. She died at True Leaf Holyoke. Recently, there's been some updates. About a month ago, it was a month ago in August, the first week of August, we kind of went nuts, and so did the Cannabis Control Commission. There were a lot of headlines about the chaos at the Cannabis Control Commission. I was talking about protesting Sean, who runs the executive director of the Cannabis Control Commission. You could probably tell I wasn't happy with some of the commissioners, and talking about I was going to do a protest, and then I kind of went silent. And there was a reason I went silent, is because it was kind of like, these guys, they have to do something. Let's they know where I stand now. I've kind of thrown the cards on the table that we're going to go nuts on them. And at the same time, obviously I'm hearing from Shannon O'Brien, who talks to us, who's been on the show, the chair of the Cannabis Control Commission. And she just said, to me, just keep bringing up Lorna, keep bringing up, the worker safety issue, and don't worry about the commissioners so much. Don't bash on them. She wanted to bring the peace, even though there was kind of a divide among the commission. So I listened to her and I stopped talking about it publicly on the show. But I knew that we're still working on our movement behind the scenes. And there has been a lot of work happening behind the scenes with workers, and specifically Mascosh, which is a great nonprofit locally. They're also part of a national outfit, and they're the Council of Occupational Safety and Health, and they focus on helping workers protect themselves as a nonprofit, and they're staffed with health and safety professionals, and they've been working with the unions, they've been working with politicians, and we've had a lot of productive, meetings and organizing with them, and Zoom meetings especially, and it seems to be coming to a head. And today, Brenda Quintana from Mascosh spoke in front of the Mass Cannabis Control Commission, and it was just a great moment. I'm really happy that this happened. And this is kind of why I've kind of eased back on the Cannabis Control Commission. I was hoping for a moment like this, and I would rather be friendly to them than, button heads with them. So hopefully this is going to be the start of something. I'm going to try to get that video up. Someone commented, Erica Madden on YouTube said the Star Drive-In event is sold out. Yes, it is. We have heard that they released more tickets and those sold out too. So who knows? There could be some more tickets released. I don't think so, but maybe check the website and just, see if they could fit more, but it doesn't seem that way. Erica Madden is saying, wish we could fit in more. There's a parking issue. So that there was high demand on that. I was hoping to actually go myself, but I'm glad that they sold all their tickets and they've raised a lot of money already. So I hope everyone enjoys that on Friday night. And if you don't get a ticket, like I didn't get a ticket, you could stay home and watch it. They're going to be broadcasting. So hopefully you watch the broadcast on Friday night as well. I'm going to close the show right now. Hopefully, if I can get this up. But yeah, I can get this up. I can handle this. We're going to put up Brenda, who spoke today. And this is before the Cannabis Control Commission. And it's a great feeling for us to see that after a long time of kind of not seeing much going on, we may see something happen with the Lorna McMurray situation. Her name was brought up at the hearing today, and it was brought up by Brenda. So we're really happy about that. And beyond that, we are hearing that the DPH is probably in the next few weeks going to finally release the investigation, the report that's almost 2 years old at this point. But we're finally going to find out what they know. So that's going to be exciting as well. So I am happy about the worker movement. I know some people are, asking me what's going on. You haven't done a show about that in a while. This is kind of just letting you know. Some other information came out too. I just want to address one of our last big shows on that issue. If you go back, maybe about a month, maybe about 6 weeks ago, it was, the day that my coworker died. And what happened at True Leaf Holyoke, there was a former coworker of Lorna McMurray who came on the show. She said a few things that were, said for the first time on the show. Number one, she said that Lorna McMurray didn't have access to masks. Number two, she said that they took off some safety equipment off the grinding machine, the screens. Number three, she said that there was no CPR done on Lorna. There were a few other things she said as well that were kind of, it was a tough show for us to hear some of these things. However, there have been other employees, one employee specifically who's recently contacted us, and he had a different story on what happened. He hasn't come on the show. We hope he will. But even if he doesn't come on the show, he's told his story to us. And basically, he also worked with Lorna at the time of her death. And he says that she was offered and did indeed wear N95 masks. Now, I just want to make the point, we're talking to people on their witness testimony, firsthand witness testimony on one of the most traumatic days of their lives when their coworker died at work. So, of course, not everyone we know that witness testimony is not always accurate. And even in the Karen Reed situation, they're trying to pin it on her because of some of the statements that she made. Witness testimony is notoriously not accurate. So it's not surprising that we have two employees that I think are both speaking their truth. I don't think either of these employees are lying, and some of their accounts are different. He says that Lorna was wearing N95 masks. He also said that an employee, his manager, who's a veteran, did give Lorna CPR, and that this manager is crushed about what happened. And I'm sure there's some reality there. So I just want to be fair. I want to share all sides. That's what we do. I don't think anyone's being dishonest here. I just think that there's different viewpoints of the same situation happened. It was a very tragic situation. And I'm very glad that the Cannabis Control Commission seems to be taking this more seriously of late, and that they're going to meet with Brenda and her group. So to close the show, I'm going to play Brenda from earlier today, Brenda Quintana, speaking at the Cannabis Control Commission about Lorna McMurray. And how I want you to check out, too, how the Cannabis Control Commission responded to her today, because I think it was positive. So that's how we're going to close the show. I don't know when we're going to do a next show, but there will be more guaranteed. I want to thank all of our supporters, listeners, and the brothers from Canton Confidential for joining us tonight. We will see you
this time. Good morning, Chair O'Brien and the commissioners and other staff and leaders here on behalf of the Cannabis Control Commission. My name is Brenda Quintana, and I'm here to represent the Massachusetts Coalition for Occupational Safety and Health, MASCOSH. It's a nonprofit that supports educational advocacy dedicated to improving the health and safety of workers in the state. At MASCOSH, we are committed to the fundamental belief that all workers should have the right to earn their living and return home alive and well. For close to 50 years, MASCOSH has been working closely with many unions, occupational safety experts, community groups, and workers themselves to advocate and win policies for safer and healthier working conditions in Massachusetts. I'd like to begin our testimony by recalling the untimely and tragic death of Lorna McMurray, a Massachusetts cannabis worker who was only 27 years old. Lorna's death from asthma triggered by workplace exposure to cannabis serves as a stark reminder of the pressing need to improve worker safety in the cannabis industry. We want to ensure that such heartbreaking tragedies never happen again. While OSHA fined her employer $14,000 for failing to provide training about chemical hazard, this alone would not have saved Lorna's life. OSHA currently lacks regulations to protect against the hazard that took Lorna's life. Therefore, it is incumbent upon our state, particularly under the enforcement power of the CCC, to develop and operationalize enforceable rules specifically tailored to the health and safety needs of workers in this industry. To achieve this, Massachusetts needs to take a comprehensive approach to assure the consideration of worker health and safety is integral throughout the cannabis industry. This includes enforceable requirements for marijuana establishments to comply with workplace health and safety standards, integration of workplace health and safety in required worker training programs, and the provision of technical assistance on workplace health and safety to employers and host communities. We commend the CCC for its goal of promoting equity and developing new regulations that will encourage communities that will have been historically harmed to have better access to this industry. That said, it is well documented that immigrants and workers of color are overrepresented in jobs of a higher risk of occupational illness and injury and death in general. As workers of color are already at high risk of illness and injury, the CCC must ensure the unsafe conditions are not perpetuated in this industry. To promote equity, it is critical that the CCC develop concrete measures to protect the health and safety and lives of all who work in this industry. In order to do this, we propose several key areas where health and safety measures can be implemented. The CCC should require a workplace injury and illness prevention program tailored to the cannabis industry. For training, incorporate health and safety and responsible vendor basic core training that includes hazard recognition and controls, emergency response, and worker rights, including the right to report issues without fear of retaliation and proper recording of injuries and illnesses. I'm almost done, I'm so sorry. And we also suggest that they offer technical assistance to small businesses for the effective implementation of health and safety measures, and for host community agreements, it would be great to develop standardized occupational health and safety language to be incorporated into the model host agreement. And so all of that is to say that I do believe, the CCC holds the licensing power to support and uplift worker health and safety. And at MASCOSH, we extend our offer to assist in this endeavor and figure out solutions.
And I first of all just want to say thank you. You and I have had a conversation. You know that this has been front and center for a number of us. We're coming up on the 2-year mark.
Absolutely.
Of Lorna dying. We did not know about that as commissioners for quite some time, which was troubling to many of us. And we know that we have a little bit more work that we need to do. One, in terms of creating an anonymous whistleblower system. We're still working on getting some of that done, but also some of the points that you've raised. We've seen some of this in some of the conditions that licensees are proactively filing about training and what they are doing to make sure that they're protecting health and safety. But it's my belief that we have to take a look at what our core training is. Absolutely. And make sure that we're doing more on public safety, especially for people working in potentially hazardous situations who don't need to check a license, but they're trained to check a license in this basic service. So that's something that we need to do. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I thank you for bringing that to the forefront.
I just wanted to ask first,
of course.
Thank you so much. I want to make sure we can get in contact with you.
Absolutely.
So if you don't mind, even when you sit down, you just send an email. would
Yeah.
share your information, that would be awesome.
I'm happy to leave my email. What would be the best way to do that?
Yeah, just tell us.
My email is brenda.q@masskosh.org. Masskosh is MASSCOSH. And I extend that invitation to the rest of the community here as well. I look forward to find different ways to bring in workers, other interested community members to find a solution to this issue.
I just want to thank you as well. We were all hit very hard by Lorna's untimely passing. We never want to see a Lorna happen again. And we need to learn more. You had mentioned asthma. We need to learn more about that and cannabis dust and how they are related. And as the chair alluded to, commissioners shouldn't learn about it reading it in the newspaper 9 months after the fact. It's unfortunate, and we never want to see this happen again. So I want to thank you and your organization, and we have much work to do around this issue. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you everyone for listening tonight. Please hit the like button. Some folks in the comments noted that so many people are listening tonight, but not enough likes. So please smash that like button. If you haven't, please subscribe. I really appreciate that. We're over 2,000 subs now. Over 1,000 new subs in like less than 10 days. Really happy about that. Thank you so much for supporting us. If you haven't, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time. Mike Crawford, Young Jurks, thank you.